Welcome to the Fall 2020 Ladies Big Book Study Recording Series. My name is Kimberly and I am a recovered alcoholic. I am the facilitator of a tri-weekly Big Book Study for ladies only, and we record each session so we can share the knowledge along with you. What we do is we read the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous line by line. We pause on each page and have discussion time to share our experience, our strength, and our hope on each page. You are more than welcome to follow along in this series and do the work of the steps of the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous. If you do need support at any time, please reach out to me in the Contact Us area of my YouTube channel, and we're happy to provide you with support. The online recordings are open to men and women. Do not be discouraged, gentlemen. Our ladies' point of view may offer you a different perspective. So welcome. I hope you enjoy. All right, ladies, continuing on in the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, we are on page 83, and these are the promises. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. We are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They are being fulfilled amongst us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them. So when we are breaking down the promises, I always love when I'm sitting in a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous and I see someone who is 30 days sober or 60 days sober, fresh out of a treatment center, haven't done any of the steps, and they're like, I'm 30 days sober and all the promises are coming true. My girlfriend's not mad at me. My work is going well. I have a house and a car. The promises are not coming true to you at 30 days or 60 days sober if you are not practicing these principles in all your affairs. That's called being an adult. That's all it is. I'm not going to cherry coat it any more than that. Adults have jobs. Adults have relationships. Adults have homes and bills that are paid. That's not any of the promises coming true. The first line says that if we are painstaking about this phase of our development, what phase are we in? We're in the phase where we're cleaning up the wreckage of our past. 4 through 9 is that good old cleaning up the wreckage of our past. In the little short form, trust God, clean house, help others. This is the clean house part. And so it says we will be amazed before we're halfway through. Not halfway through your amends, not halfway through the steps, halfway through cleaning up your house. If you haven't cleaned up your house, you're not getting any of the promises. So, when I hear that at meetings, I'm just like, ugh, no, please, that's not how this works. So it says, we are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. And that freedom and this new happiness only comes when we've done this good, thorough house cleaning and we're starting to repair the wreckage. And what it is it's your connection to God. is starting to flourish. Because what does this step 4 through 9 do? It clears away the things that are blocking us from God. And so when we get all this stuff out of the way, our prayers and our meditations start working, and we start to feel God's presence in our lives, and we find this new freedom and this new happiness. We will not regret the past nor wish to shut the door on it, because in our step 5, we've shared with others that are shameful things from the past. You know, we've gotten these things out, and we've realized we're not the only ones that's had these things. So we don't want to shut the door on our past, because as we're going to hear in a minute, we see its usefulness to others as we go and start to do our 12-step work. We will comprehend the word serenity, and we will know peace. I shared this in a meeting the other day. Peace is not the absence of problems. Peace is not the absence of problems. Peace is the presence of God to help us through our problems. So as our problems come up, we are not in that tornado. We are not in that, oh my God, my life's falling apart, because we've got this connection to God that we're able to fall back on, and we're able to trust that things are going to be okay because we have faith. We've got things that are starting to come together, so we're getting these tools to be able to manage our lives better, because we know our lives were unmanageable just 8 steps ago. We see how our experience can benefit others. How we see this is in our step 5. We begin to see it when we're speaking to our sponsors. As you're going through this book and you're hearing your sponsor or your spiritual advisor share their experiences with you, you're seeing the similarities in how I can use my painful past as a learning tool to say, this is how it was, and it's not like that anymore. This is how it is now. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. Well, heck yeah. As you start cleaning up the past, as things start making sense, as you start seeing how your past can benefit others, you start to feel useful. I was talking with someone yesterday, and we were talking about haters, and I've had a lot of that this weekend for some reason. It must be a full moon. And I said, I'm just doing God's work. If someone's got a problem with me, they can go talk to him. Not my problem. I'm good. It's because I've found a way that I'm useful to others. And I made myself an agent of his love. So all of that stuff no longer affects me. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Well, we're going to talk about that more when we get into step 12. But we talked about it on page 15. We enhance our spiritual life through work and self-sacrifice for others. And as we are doing that, our selfishness disappears. How can I be of use to my fellows? I don't need to go out and buy myself lavish things, because I get more pleasure from helping my fellow alcoholic. If I'm having a bad day, I get more relief by talking to another alcoholic. And so we see how that benefits us. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Well, heck yeah, because we've got faith in a higher power, and he's leading and directing our lives, and we're seeing all these amazing things start to happen. So our faith keeps building. Our trust keeps building. Our attitude changes. Doom and gloom gets shoved out the back door, and all of this sunlight gets shone into our hearts. Fear of people. We'll start with that one, because the next one will break down a little lot. Fear of people comes when we start to make these amends, and we see them reacting positively and wishing us well and telling us that they've seen this change before we've even announced it to them. And so we're able to look people in the eye, because we're on different grounds. We're walking a different way. If you're past your step 5, you've seen how your fear has dominated you, which I'm speaking about Saturday morning in Mumbai, India. I will put that information in the chat. But our fear dominates us, and we see how that's caused our conduct, which caused our harm. And so we're not afraid of people anymore. because it's us that's hurt ourselves, not other people. So that fear, and it all just starts to rearrange with us. And the economic insecurity will leave us. Well, we've talked about this a bit before in other sessions, where doesn't mean I all of a sudden have $1 million in my bank account. $1 million in my bank account doesn't actually give me financial security these days and ages. What does is a faith in God and a faith that everything is going to work out. My bills always get paid. My rent always gets paid. My hydro's not been cut off in over 2 years. Hallelujah, right? I don't have a fear of that. Does that mean I have millions of dollars in the bank? No. It means I trust that so long as I keep him close and do his work well, God will always provide for me. That is in this book. It's another one of our promises. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. Pause. We don't react. We've got this connection with God, so we can use prayer and meditation to find strength and direction. We've got trusted spiritual advisors when we are not feeling inspired by God and not hearing these messages that we can rely on, and they can connect us through their higher powers. And we suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Sometimes this is a little bit longer to figure out because we are so self-reliant for so long that when God starts doing these miraculous things for us, sometimes we don't notice. And now I notice it. I'm God conscious. I'm conscious of his presence and of the gifts he brings to me each and every day, but it's a work in progress. Sometimes they smack you in the face like a Mack truck, and you're like, oh, wow, God, that was a doozy. And you're like, thanks. And other times, they're little subtle little hands of God on your back, guiding you through your right situations. Are these extravagant promises? Those of us who have experienced them say no. They're not. It's a simple program for complicated people with very amazing results. They are being fulfilled amongst us. Sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. Quicker when you work it harder, slower when you're a little bit hesitant. Not gonna lie. If you're pushing the brakes and not getting through your steps and not doing the work, you're not gonna have these promises come true as quick as someone who's like, super, super willing. Willingness is the key here. The more willing we are to do the work, the more amazing the gifts are gonna be. They always materialize if we work for them. So this discussion today is going to be all about the promises. Ladies, questions, comments, concerns, and experiences, please. Who wants to go first? Anne-Marie, go ahead, unmute yourself.
Hi, I'm Anne-Marie. I'm an alcoholic. I think that the one that promise that resonates the most, two of them with me is our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. I actually found that kicked in earlier than step 9 because I was conscious. I was sober. I was present. I was awake, and I could participate in life. Just because I wasn't drunk anymore made a huge difference. Also, we will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. Even though I didn't drink during the day because I was working, I was still an alcoholic 24/7, right? And things would just baffle me completely, situations and people, and I would just fly off the handle, even if I hadn't had my drink yet that day. Or perhaps because I hadn't. And all of a sudden, I wasn't doing that anymore. Huge difference. But the attitude and the outlook and the situational handling, others saw it before I did in me. So I personally believe that we don't have to wait till step 9 to get some of the benefits, a little bit. It's not earth-shattering, but kind of like a taste of what's to come a little bit sooner.
Absolutely. And I mean, I felt a lot of these happening after step 5. After you do that step 5, some of these start to materialize. And the more you work, the more you work, the more you get, the more you get. But these promises do not come true when you're 30 days sober, fresh out of treatment, like I said earlier. That's called being an adult, getting a job and paying your bills. Everybody does it. Or normal people do anyways. Marianne, Toronto.
Hi friends, I am an alcoholic from Toronto. My name's Marianne. Grateful to be here, grateful to be sober. I don't know how to put this. I have a question. So a lot of these promises have come true for me. And I almost feel like do I work hard, I know that, and I on this program, but I'm just going, is this okay, God? Like, it's almost too good to be true. I don't know. Did you ever feel that? Thanks. Yeah.
I feel this too good to be true all the time. My friends will tell you, Alexis is nodding her head, and we're like, yeah, I say that. Whose life is this? Whose life am I living? It's really friggin' awesome. It's my life. And, the intuitively knows how to handle situations. Pausing. That's your first step to having that intuitively knows how to handle situations that used to baffle us. Knowing to hit that pause button and not losing your mind the minute someone says something and reacting. That's the beginning of that coming true for you. Lee T. You gotta unmute.
There we go.
There you go.
Lee speaking. Okay. Can you see my picture now? I can't even see my picture. I'm working on two things here.
I can see your picture on the other one, and I can hear your voice on the other one.
Okay. That's what I'm working against. Okay, sorry about that.
That's okay.
I'm one of the people that read the promises and thought, oh yeah, this is gonna happen. This just doesn't. And then I was so annoyed at they'll always materialize if we work for them. Not that one. The part that are these extravagant promises, and I said yes, I think they are. I think they're very extravagant. Who the hell thought of these things? But I just want to talk a little briefly about one of the promises, or maybe I should say the first promise that happened to me. The very first time that I got, when my outlook on life started to change, I had the most incredible experience. And because I hadn't realized my process was I was starting to pray and I didn't know it. And I was starting to notice, and I didn't notice that I was starting to notice. And one day I was, I don't know whether it was in a session where they were reading the promises or whatever, or whether I think it just happened. I remember that I felt this thing come over me. It was a very physical reaction of peace. It was amazing. Because I realized, and the thought that went with that was, that's one of the promises. Oh my God, that's one of the promises. And look at it, look what it feels like. So when it started to move into fear of people and economic insecurity, I still wasn't trusting any of that, but I got a chance to look at my economic insecurity, and I got to start realizing, after a series of events, I would call it, God events, that says there's a different way to do what you're doing in your life financially. Not that it was at a catastrophic level, but it was not a helpful one. I found that there was a solution. I prayed, I worked on it, and God put this person in my life that was a financial advisor, and she just whooped in, told me all these things I could do, and now I'm retired and certainly not rich, but certainly comfortable. So all of these principles or promises, as I read them, have actually come true in bits and pieces. But I guess the only other thing that I can say is I don't experience them all the time. There are times when it's just not happening. And so that's when I have to go back to the praying again, because I know there is a solution. And that's the part that, as you were talking, I write down, I know there's a solution. I don't panic as much anymore. I used to panic. It's happening. So anyway, thank you very much. I don't know what screen to say goodbye on. Bye-bye.
All your screens are good. Thank you so much, Lee. And yeah, our book says that we're not going to feel inspired at all times. And usually if we feel a little bit of the unmanageability creeping back in, it's because we're not working our maintenance program in our daily lives. A few questions from the chat. One was if I am following some sort of guide as I do this study, and I'm not. This is all just intuitively coming to me through reading this book over and over and over again. It's kind of my God consciousness. I say what comes to me because I feel like somebody needs to hear it. And the other question is, what episode is this? And this is episode number 32. And as some of you may have seen, they started popping up today because I was working on them this morning. Lisa G. Lisa G. Unmute. Okie dokie, Fern.
Hi everyone, I'm Fern and I'm an alcoholic. I heard earlier when we in one of the last sessions that their biggest fear was doing step 4, and I know a lot of people don't drop out at or leave the step group meetings at step 4, but actually it's step 9 that is the real one that I have a lot of trouble with and had. And, you know, I thought I had done that, but I realized it's like a cancer operation, that some of the cancer was missed and was left inside and later comes out. And I think, like you said, if we don't practice our daily maintenance stuff, if there's still something that we really haven't cleared, and I know that there is, because when I went through and did this really thorough examination of where my fears and shame was coming from, I saw a lot more than I had actually realized in the past, and so now with this new information, I'm starting to understand that what happened a couple years ago that brought about huge shame, like devastating shame, out in me. It was to do with a guy, of course, and I thought, why am I feeling so horrible? Well, I get it that I have to do more. I had to do more work. There was stuff in relationships with people and men especially that I haven't cleared up. So I know God brings us to it when we need another look into our deep dark secrets. And I realized that I kind of skipped ahead on step 9 and thought I was all good. Anyway, thanks for my sobriety.
Absolutely. And yeah, if you are struggling with step 9, what you're missing is 6, 7, and 8. If you're struggling with step 9, you need to go back to 6, 7, and 8 because you need to pray away those fears. You need to pray away anything that's holding you back in your 6 and 7, and then you need to pray for the willingness. So what you're not struggling with is actually step 9. You're struggling with the ones in between, 6, 7, and 8. And I would say to concentrate on 7 and 8 heavily and ask for those fears to be removed and ask for that willingness to be able to move on to the 9s. And then don't forget to stay in your 10, 11, and 12. You know, this is a practice these spiritual principles in all of our affairs. This isn't a work on one until we perfect it, because then you're not going to get any growth. It's a package deal. It's not a one and done. Leslie, you disappeared. Oh, there you are. You got on mute.
Hi, Leslie in Kamloops today, and a new. So, okay, I'm getting used to this. Okay. Anyways, I finally get to speak, without any kind of reservations, because when I'm at home, I have this bit of a fear about my husband, or I did have. let's put it that way, of him, sneaky peeking in on my meetings. And usually he was drinking. Now, putting the steps into action with me, it's been a walk. It's been a walk of faith. And what AA has done in my life thus far is it's brought me back to God. It's increased my faith. Now, somebody said in a meeting days gone by that doubt is the opposite of faith. And, doubt can creep in at any time in your life. And then you start to listen to those voices. Am I really on the right path? Am I really doing God's will? Am I doing, what is right for me? Am I being selfish? Am I, I've had my battles. Trust me, I've had major freaking battles because my husband is still drinking. But in all of that, I keep putting him before God in prayer, asking God to give him wisdom, asking God to give him strength, asking God to help him. And in turn, I'm receiving peace because I'm giving it over to God. And the other day, I don't know, I think I probably shared this. The other day, my sister, who's been living with an alcoholic for 39 years, he's been in recovery. He is a man of faith, and she is as well. By that I mean they're both practicing Christians. And she was diagnosed with bowel cancer. And this girl, I love this girl. Like, she's my baby sister. I've always been there to protect her, and this is something out of my reach, right? No control over this. So I shed my tears, and I said, okay, enough of that. Now we're going to get down to the brass tacks. Now we are going to look to God and to trust in Him that everything is going to work out in this situation, like every situation, turning it over to God. So that has increased my faith. Since then, instead of her having her CT scan January 7th, she's having her CT scan today. Her surgery is booked for January 7th, but maybe it'll be sooner. Maybe she won't even need surgery. Maybe the cancer will be gone. So, and that's the faith that you have to have. The faith is the substance of things that you're hoping for, that you haven't quite yet seen, but you're hoping for it. And so that's where I'm at right now. And I've been listening to so much incredible stuff. The meat and the meat and the potatoes of this program. And I thank God for Zoom. I thank God for Kimberly and all those guys that are working the program, like opening up the meetings and stuff, and teaching us some just incredible stuff. Like this isn't stuff that I learned in the beginning in the meetings that I was going to. This is the meat and potatoes of AA. And if you abandon yourself to God, and He will reveal Himself. If you draw close to Him, He will show you. He will give you wisdom. He will give you strength in your battles, your daily battles, to overcome your desire to live for self, your desire to drink. I don't think about drinking. I've been sober now just over 2 years, and I thank God for removing that from my life. But and still every day, daily, and many times of the day, giving it over to God. I'm with my grandkids here, so it's
all right, Leslie, I gotta cut you off and keep the conversation on the promises. Thank you so much. Lisa G on the promises, please.
That'll be a lot. That'll be very, very easy for me, Kimberly Masters, Lisa Gill, recovered alcoholic, sitting here in my new living room at the front of this old home with its own issues, as I have too, because I'm almost 60 and this house is 80, and I've never been happier in my life. And the promise that I need to address today is we will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves, because 2 years ago, on the 20th, 2 years ago, the 20th, the roof of my then building blew off, and I'm concluding the litigation with BCAA, which is the rental insurance company. On a day, I need to submit my last invoice. Gmail's down. And so now I'm already technically challenged. So the next miracle I'm waiting for in the promises statements is we will intuitively know how to handle situations with East Demopolis. And I'll be here until the end of the meeting until that happens. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Lisa. Della.
I find that on mute. I'm not, I'm not special, that's for sure. Good morning, ladies. Della, recovering alcoholic. There are so many of the promises that have come true already. Like, I can see them. I'm amazed that everything is so completely different than what it was a year ago. Oh shoot, no, I've lost it. This self-seeking will slip away. Yeah, I don't think about Della all day, every day, and how everything's going to benefit me. Oh shoot, where did it go?
They always rearrange
whole
that book.
attitude- What?
They always rearrange the book.
Right? The whole attitude and outlook upon life. Like, and situations that used to baffle me. Like, do you want fries or salad? I could never decide. It was always like, I don't know, right? Like, now I can just go, yeah, I want fries. Or, yeah, I want salad. Like, just the small little things that used to baffle me, or being so angry that I didn't know what to do. And all I need to do now is pray about it. And it's so easy to do. And yes, God is doing for me what I could not do for myself. And I am so grateful for this. And, even 36 days in the program, and I was listening to the promises, because here in Merit, we read the promises at the end. I would cry. I would be like, well, when is this going to happen? Like, really? We're going to know how to do this stuff? And wow, yes, if we work for them, they do. But they're not extravagant if we work for them. And so I'm just so grateful for AA and this program. Thanks, Kim.
Thank you so much, Della. Yeah, knowing you should have the salad, but wanting the fries and then eating the fries and being mad at yourself. Oh, yeah. Now I just don't give a heck. But yeah, I used to cry. My first year of sobriety, I bawled every time they read the promises. And now I just I'm so grateful for them. Jenny T.
Oh. Hi, I'm Jenny. I'm alcoholic. Hi, everybody. You know what? I just ordered the fries. There isn't any decision there. I just have the fries. Anyway, the promises. Well, the people that are 30, 60 days new and they say, oh, I have the promises in my life, or whatever. I thought I did at that time. I would never say it at a meeting. I could barely speak at meetings for months. Like, I was terrified. But I would look at it and I would think, oh, I have this. I wasn't even this close. But you know what? I felt so different at 30 days and 60 days than I did the day I arrived here. It felt like those promises were coming true. And then eventually I look and I go, wow, okay. But it's like somebody said earlier, it's a tiny start. No, they're not true, but thank God I felt that way because it kept me coming. I remember at 6 months, I got up at a podium once in Prince George. I was traveling for work And I said, I've been sober 6 months. I just don't know what else I could learn here. And, everybody kind of nodded their heads and smiled and went, oh, isn't that cute? That she's sober 6 months and she doesn't know what else. But that's how I felt at 6 months. It's like, wow. Anyway, I'll tell you how a way to get a real appreciation for these promises. I've been doing this for a long, long time, as you know, and sometimes I think I take these promises in my life for granted because they're my normal now. This is my life. This is how I feel. This is how I live. And if I ever think I'm taking these promises for granted, start working with a wet one. Start working with a brand newcomer who's come in the door, and I'm really, really privileged that I'm able to, well, I say privileged, I'm also frustrated and I want to shoot this woman, but I love her and I am privileged that I'm spending a lot of time, but I look at her life and I look at the insanity and the chaos and the decisions about everything, and she's lost. And I look at these promises and I think, oh my God, hun, just don't drink today. One day you're going to feel this. You're not going to be in this insanity that you're in. And she says she likes me because I laugh at her when she tells her stories. And I go, I laugh at you because they're funny and they're exactly what happened to me. And she goes, you understand. And I go, yeah, I'm you. I'm you. I'm just a little older, because I do understand what it's like to be in that complete insanity, completely, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Where do I go? What should I do now? Oh, man. So being working with the newcomer has given me, again, another complete appreciation for these promises, and that this is how we can live our lives. It's crazy. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jenny. And yeah, I don't say that these are not the promises coming true at 30 or 60 days to be harsh, and that it's just being an adult. I say that because 9 times out of 10, when I see someone at 60 or 30 days saying all the promises are coming true, they don't do the work. And so I need to say that out loud because for them, yeah, your life is starting to change. You're starting to be an adult. You're starting to see great things happening in your life, but that's not it. There's more. What you have right now is great right now, but guess what? The truck's going to hit a wall and life's going to come apart and you're not going to have the tools that this spiritual program can fill you up. I don't say these things to burst anybody's bubble. I do say these things to burst it enough to get them to do the work that will give them the actual promises, because you're cutting yourself short if you think at 30 or 60 days your life is amazing, because it's not. You're just separated from alcohol for 30 or 60 days. And unless you do this work and start working with other people, you don't have the immunity to your disease. Jenny, or Kelly D, all these D's and I's.
Hi, Kimberly. Hi, everybody. I miss you guys. I'm so glad to be on. The promises, well, that was my first meeting. It was a 2:00 promises meeting in Dobbs Ferry, New York. And I'll never forget, shaking like a leaf, holding my fiance's hand, Velcro to the hip, codependent, walking in and hearing the promises. And I'm just like, yeah, you're a bunch of liars. This isn't going to happen for me. But they did, and they are. And, I like how it talks about we are painstaking, like pain. Oh, wow. Like going through the steps. I was in such heavy caked on denial about who I was and what I was doing. I told myself this narrative that I was a good person, that I was doing good stuff. And, when I'm in the most pain, that's when the change happens. Like I have to be ready to do the work, like we're talking about. And then we're going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. Like, all I wanted to do was get drunk and get high. I don't know about you guys. That's all I wanted to do. I want to feel my feelings. And then, having peace and serenity. I couldn't have that without having something in my body. Like I didn't have God. And just knowing the selfish and the self-seeking. Oh my God, selfish for sport. Like I would run you over. What do I got to do to get over there to get it? Like, what do I have to do? Do I have to lie to you, steal from you? What am I going to do? And, I know that the selfish and the self-seeking has passed because I let my mother stay with me for 10 days. My grandmother passed, and she's an untreated alcoholic. And let me tell you, I'm the best version of the big book she'll ever see. And that's just the promises right there. Because I'm telling you right now, I could not deal with my mother. I had to cut her out of my life when I was getting sober for a while. And the fact that I could deal with her and I have God, and she's not going to hurt me, and I'm not living in fear, and that I could have her in my house for 10 days, and not be in the psycho loony bin and the paper slippers is amazing. So this program definitely works. All right, thanks.
Thank you so much. MJ.
Hi, everybody. I'm MJ, and I'm an alcoholic. Yeah, I was looking at my book and all my writing in here, and my sponsor, when I first got in, she said, you need a dictionary and you need your big book. Come and meet me. So painstaking, I have underlined here as done with great care and thoroughness. So I just noticed that, so I thought I'd just let you know what I wrote down here about. So I have to take great care and I have to be thorough, and that's what it means from the dictionary. The one promise that no matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. Now that was one that it's taken me a while to come to me, because I had a lot of shame about my past, and I stayed in that shame for a long, long time, thinking that I could never tell anybody, I could never reveal what my shame was all about. And now what I understand is that it's a gift, because my past I can help share with other people, and maybe they can relate to some of the things that I've done, some of the things that I felt shameful about. And I don't feel shame about them anymore, because I did what I did with what I had at the time, and I didn't know any better. And I didn't have the steps or the program to help me understand that. So that was one that out for me today. I just think, if somebody calls me and I can be of service to them because I have similar experiences or similar feelings of shame about the experiences that I've had, then that's a great thing. That makes me feel really good. So that is gone for me. I see it as a gift now rather than a problem. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right, ladies, that was our discussion on the promises. I just want to do a little update/announcement, seeing as the holidays are coming. So today is Monday. We just completed our reading for step 9. Wednesday, we will do step 10. Friday, we will do step 11. And then the next week, Monday and Wednesday, we will read the chapter Working with Others and start our step 12. But then we are going to take a break because it falls into Christmas and New Year's. So Wednesday next week will be our last meeting so Wednesday the 23rd will be our last meeting until Monday the 28th. So we won't be here Friday the 25th. So then we'll be here Monday the 28th, Wednesday the 30th, and then we'll take another break for Friday, which is New Year's, and we'll be back on the 4th. Does that make sense for everyone? Okay, perfect. So because 164 and Beyond is running 24 hours a day starting on the 23rd at 4 o'clock. So this is hosted on that account, and so the Zoom ID won't work Friday. All right. So with that being said, let's